Welcome to my dream.
Welcome to the Beginner Magic Guide Part 2. If you have not seen Part 1, obviously go ahead and check that out. It's just teaching the most basic things, entry-level stuff to get started in card magic. But in this video, I'm going to be teaching you more advanced or intermediate sleights that are going to get you able to do a lot more tricks and perform much better magic. I'll leave the list of all the things I'm going to be teaching on the screen right now, but let's just get straight into it. So the first thing I want to cover in this video is going to be cutting the deck and false cuts, things like that. I would do false shuffles in this video, but I think those are a little more advanced, so I will not put that in this video, just false cuts. So there are 3 basic false cuts that I think every magician should know, so I'm going to go over those right now. So the first one is going to be an in the hands false cut. So first you can just do this, and that is the false cut. So basically, all you do is a swing cut. So essentially, you take your index finger, take off about half the pack, and just swing it over. So just like this. You grab it with your other hand, and then you're just gonna do this as like you're squaring up the deck, drop it, and then put it back. Now, this looks like you're cutting the deck, but all you're doing is taking the top packet and then just putting it right back on top. You need to make sure that you do the square up, otherwise if you just do this, it doesn't look quite as clean. You might get caught on this, so use this with discretion. So that's the first false cut, extremely basic and easy, but that's the first one. So the second one that I want to teach you guys is a bit more advanced, but basically you're going to do a swing cut, another swing cut, drop this packet, bam and bam. So up to speed, this is going to look like this. Okay, so it just looks like you're giving the deck a few cuts, but all you're doing is swing cut about a third of the deck, swing cut another third of the deck, but this time you're going to keep a pinky break under that. And if you have your 2 fingers in the front like this, you can actually cover that break so it doesn't look so obvious. So if you cover that break like this, and then you're just going to drop that other packet on the table, and all you're going to do is lift up everything from that break, drop it on, and then drop the rest on top. And this is just a completely false cut, leaving the order of the deck unchanged. Now the last false cut is going to be the most advanced one out of these 3. So basically it's going to be an on the table false cut. So if you're playing on the table, so you're shuffling on the table, and you're doing a cut or something like that. So you do a shuffle, and then you do a cut, and you go ahead and give the deck 3 cuts, but it doesn't change the order whatsoever. So basically, what I'm doing here is giving the deck a cut, and I'm actually holding a thumb break underneath this card. Here, I'll switch the camera angle so you guys can get a better angle at this. So essentially what you're doing here is you're going to go ahead and take about a third of the cards again. You're going to use your other hand. So if you hold your deck in your right hand, you hold it like this. If you hold it in your left hand, it's here. So whatever hand you hold the deck with, you're going to take that packet off the bottom. So take about a third, and then you want to cut it here. Now once you cut it, you're going to use your other hand to just hold a break right there. Now from the front, they can't see anything, so it just looks like you cut the cards. But to the back, you can clearly see that there's a big break here. Now what you're going to do is take another third of the cards off the bottom, and again with that hand that you took it off before, swing these onto the top, keeping that break right there. Now there's 2 things you can do at this point. You can either go ahead and switch to where this hand holds the cards, you take everything under the break and swing it over with the other hand, or you can simply just use the same hand and cut it again. It's completely up to you, either one is fine, but up to speed it should look something like this, or like this. Now I lost the break at that last cut, but you can see that's what it should look like up to speed. So you're going to want to get really quick at this. Make sure you can do this quickly, otherwise it's not going to look very clean and people might call you out for it. So again, make sure you practice all 3 of these moves a lot. But this is going to be it for the false cut section, and then we'll move on to the rest. So this next move that I want to teach you guys is a pretty classic card control technique. This is called the Marlo Tilt. So basically, I'll give you guys a demonstration. So for instance, the 9 of spades, it'll go into the center of the pack, just like this. And now it looks like it really went into the middle, but really it's only second from the top. So that is the move. It looks really clean. You can set yourself up for a double lift for an ambitious card routine or something similar to that. There's plenty of tricks you can use this for, but I want to teach it to you guys. So essentially all that's going on here is you're taking the top card and you're just holding it up like this. So from the front it looks like this, and your thumb should be hiding it from this angle. So anyone looking from the front or to the side of you like this won't be able to see anything. The only people that will be able to see it is if they're on this side, because you can see through here. But if you angle your hand in a way that they won't be able to see what you're doing, you'll be perfectly fine with this move. So essentially how you set this up, you can either do it one-handed or with your other hand. So usually you would do this while they're looking at their card that they selected. So basically they're looking at their card they selected, and you can, like I said, you can use both hands, you can use one hand, either way. So basically you just take your other hand and you just take one card up and you literally just set it right into your hand. You want it kind of higher up against your thumb. So it's really just against your thumb. That's all that's holding it up. I'm not sure what this part of your thumb is called, to be completely honest, but you can see where that is. So when you're holding the deck, usually your ring finger and your middle finger are going to be holding that card up. Mostly your ring finger. So it's pretty much just my ring finger that's pushing it against my thumb like this, which is keeping it. And my middle finger is really just pulling the front down so that it doesn't stick out in the front like this or something like that. So that's really all I'm doing, is just like this. And if you do this one-handed, all you do is just push off the top card, and then you just use your fingers to kind of get into that position. So this is all it is. You don't want it like super high up or anything like that, but you also don't want it too low. You kind of just want it maybe just like a centimeter high. I mean, you can see how high that is. That's really as high as you want it to be. And then basically when you're actually putting the card into the middle, most magicians will actually go ahead and like push against these cards, so that in the front it looks like you're trying to push it in by having cards like stick out and stuff. And I think that's definitely something you can do. But what I actually prefer to do is instead of just pushing it straight on, because if you're pushing it straight on, sure, that's what would be happening. But I actually like to just go at an angle like this and do it like this, and then go ahead and push it in. So I don't push any cards out or anything like that. I just go ahead and take it like it's like I'm putting it into the deck like this, and then I push it in. Because that's how I would normally push a card into the middle of the deck. If I was doing it from the back, I would actually do it like this. So, I mean, because if I just had it normally, this is how I would do it, because it makes it easier to cut into the deck to push it in. So that's why I like that. I think it looks a lot cleaner because it's something I would actually do if I was just putting it into the middle. So you can do either one. Either one works perfectly fine, but that is the Marlo Tilt move. So now I want to go over palming techniques. So I'm going to go over the classic palm, the Tenkai palm, and the gambler's cop. I think these three are probably the most essential palming techniques you're going to ever use. And I'll give you a few scenarios in which you would use these kind of palms for. So let's just get straight into those right now. I'll start off with the classic palm. So all it's going to look like is just like this. So it's just in your hand like this, and your hands just bent slightly, but you can hold your hand at the table or do whatever like this, something while you're palming the card. So basically how you get into this is, on a deck, usually it's called a top palm, so you can palm a card off the top like this, but I'm just going to show you how you should actually have it in your hand. So you're going to take your hand that you're going to palm it in, and you want to put it as follows. So pretty much right in the tip of your pinky, like this. Not on the line right here, but just a little above it. And then you want it obviously in the middle of your hand so that there's skin on both sides of the card. Obviously, if you have smaller hands, this might be a problem for you, but you just need to adjust to how your hands are. So basically what you're gonna do is take your pinky, and obviously you want this corner kind of in your thumb. So what you're gonna do is bend the card a bit, and then it should pretty much just be on your pinky and your thumb, like this. So now from the front, you can't see anything, but you should be able to only hold it with the pinky and the thumb. And now you can wrap your other fingers around it, obviously, but you should be able to, mostly hold those fingers straight out like this. So that's really all it is for palming. Obviously, this is going to take a bit of practice to get comfortable with doing something like this, but that is the classic palm. Usually how people get into this palm just from off the top of the deck is they'll put their hand on the top of the deck like this. And what you do is you take your pinky and you just push that corner until you can get into palm like this. So it's kind of a more advanced move, I would say, but again, you really just take your pinky and you just push it. So you're just pushing your pinky so that against that corner, so that the card just slides up into your hand. And you can use these fingers that are holding the deck to push that card and adjust it into the hand how you want it to be. And then you can go away from the deck or do whatever you want with the palm. You can obviously look up videos on what to actually do, tricks to do with palms. But that's what the basic classic palm is, and that's how you can get into it. Otherwise, you can obviously just put it into your hand like this. So that's the classic palm. Let's get straight into the Tenkai palm. So the Tenkai palm is going to look like this. So from the front, you can relax your fingers, hold your hand like this, but it's in your hand like this. So this is much different from the classic palm. So all this is here is your thumb is just holding it against your hand like this. So what you want is pretty much the edge of the card. So you want the end, you don't want it like in the middle like this, because then it can be sticking out of your fingers. But what you want is pretty much the end of this card to be in your thumb. So against your thumb, right where the crease is in your thumb, that's where you want the card to be. So that you can pretty much bend right into that card, and then you're just holding it like this. You want it to be just straight in line with your hand. You don't want it at like a weird angle or something like that. You just want it to be comfortably sitting right there in your finger. Okay, and again, your thumb is the only thing touching this. You don't need your other fingers or anything like that. But you can relax your hand more. You can do more natural gestures, or even hold your hand like this while you have it in the back. So this can be useful for things such as card switches or things like that you might need to do a Tenkai palm, or even vanishes where you do something like this, put it in your hand and the card vanishes, but you're just palming it. So the way you can get into this is usually if you just have a card, and then you simply just, so you want to hold it like this, your two fingers in between it, or on both sides of it, and you're just going to move them back and then use your thumb to take that card. So this can be done also if you're holding the deck and you go ahead across the deck and just pick up a card like that. So now I have a card. So that can also be done as well. That's obviously a lot more difficult and will take a lot more practice, but that is the basics of the Tenkai palm. So again, make sure you practice this, but those are just the basics of this move. Now I want to get onto the Gambler's Cop. This is definitely my favorite palming technique, and in my opinion, the most useful one. So what the Gambler's Cop is actually holding it like this in your hand. So from the front, you can see it. You can't see the card at all, and obviously at certain angles, you're going to be able to see it, because like the classic palm, you can move a lot and not have people see it. But this one, you can't move your hand as much, because if you turn, they'll see the corner, or if you're in the front, they'll see it, or if it's too low, they'll see the top, obviously. So if you hold it just right like this in a natural hand position down by your side, they're just going to be seeing this part of your hand. They're not going to be able to see the card. So how to get into this position is just hold your hand out flat like this, and you're going to want to take this corner and put it in with your middle finger. So you want this in line with your middle finger, this corner, just like this. And then what you're going to do is take these two fingers, and these two fingers are going to be what are holding this card. So it's pretty much just your ring finger, but your pinky's also going to be on the side. And then you want that corner to just be just almost above your hand, but just right underneath. So I mean, obviously you can adjust this how you want. You could have it lower, or you could have it like almost just right above that part of your hand. But either way, you just want it in here. These fingers are going to be holding it, not these two, but these ones are going to be covering it. So you're going to probably curl your fingers around that card. You know, don't make it suspicious. Don't be like this. Just hold your hand naturally by your side. And if it's like this, you know, you can even maybe do something like this where you're pointing at the deck or something like that, but you're concealing this card. Now this can be used for card to pocket or things like this, where usually you would do this off the bottom of the deck. So you'd get the card off the bottom of the deck, put it into Gambler's Cop, reach behind, and then you have the card. So usually what you do is use your thumb on this hand and riffle off the bottom card. So once you have that bottom card in a thumb break, you go ahead, just simply put the deck into that grip. So like if you were to just Gambler's Cop the entire deck, and then you just you just let that card go off, and then you just push the deck back up so that you have that card in Gambler's Cop. So that's how you can get into the move from the deck. Usually, like I said, it would be, you know, off the bottom. You'd be doing it with the bottom card and then putting it back, and then, you know, doing whatever you want with that. So that is the Gambler's Cop. Again, that's probably the most versatile one. You can do a lot of things with the Gambler's Cop, but those are all three palming techniques that I think every magician should know. So make sure you practice these, get good at them, make them look clean, make your hands feel comfortable being in those positions. But that's all for palming, so let's get straight into the next section. So for this next section, I'm going to be teaching you how to force a playing card on a spectator. So this is, in my opinion, one of the best ones. This is just a basic Riffle Force. So this isn't, in my opinion, this isn't the best card force, but this is one of the best ones you can learn as a beginner or intermediate magician. So this is just an essential sleight of hand move. So essentially what it would look like, let's say I'm trying to force the 3 of spades, okay? So I'm just gonna have the spectator go ahead and just say stop whenever they want. Let's say they stop right here. I go ahead, show them that card, and it's the 3 of spades. So basically how you're gonna do this is you wanna obviously know what card you're gonna force. Let's say the 8 of clubs, it's on top of the deck. Now you're gonna wanna swing cut around half the deck, I would say, around half, and then swing cut it into your hand, and then just keep a pinky break right there. You want this to be a small break, and you wanna be hiding it, because if when you're riffling, this is like opened up, that's just not gonna look good, and they're gonna think you're doing something really suspicious. So, and you can even cover it with your other hand like this when you're riffling down. But yeah, try to keep that break to a minimum so that it's not suspicious or sticking out. So once you have that break on that card, they're gonna call stop whenever they want. Obviously, if it's really close to the bottom, you're not gonna be able to do this. So you might have to just do something else for the trick if you really need to force this card for the effect. But if it's around the middle area, anywhere around the middle area, let's say they stop right about here, what I like to do, I actually learned this from one of Chris Ramsey's videos, so I'm going to give the credit to him for this kind of handling for this. But basically what I like to do is take my middle finger and go ahead and slide it through the middle like this, as if I'm about to pick up this packet. So you're gonna, so where they say stop, you just take your middle finger, run it through these cards, and then you're just gonna drop everything at that break and just pick up from the pinky break, like this, so that you're forcing that card on them. So again, I'll go over that really quick. So let's say you're forcing the 10 of hearts. So you're gonna cut that into the middle, keep a break. They call stop whenever they want. Let's say they stop right here. You run your finger through, close it, and then you just take off from that pinky break, showing the 10 of hearts. So that is the Riffle Force. Again, if you need to force a card, this is one of the better options, I would say, in my opinion. Some people might say the Sleight Force is, so you riffle down and then basically you just pull the top card off as you show them. But I don't like it because you can hear it and it doesn't look as clean. Sometimes they can see it. So I think the Riffle Force is one of my favorite forces. It just looks really clean, and if you practice it, get good at it, make it look super clean as though you're simply just cutting exactly where they stop at, it looks really clean, it looks really fair. So make sure you guys practice this, get good at it, and go ahead and perform it. So that's it for the force, and then I'm gonna go ahead and move on to color changes now. All right, so for this first color change, this can either be done as a color change or a card vanish. So basically the color change looks something like this. So you go ahead and show the ace of spades. Now you're gonna go ahead and show it and then change it into the 9 of clubs, just like this. Now, basically what you're gonna do is get a double lift. So you're gonna get a double lift, flip it over, and now here's where the move comes in. So you're going to go ahead and take these 2 fingers right here. Well, really you're taking your whole hand, but you're using about this area of your hand to contact the cards like this. And you're just gonna push that top card up just slightly so that you have about this much of the card underneath showing. So again, you have your hand here so that they're not seeing this. So you push that card up, and then what you do is you want the base of your palm or a little bit above it, but usually the base of your palm to contact that bottom part right here of that other card. And all you're gonna do is simply just pull that card out and then clear it of the packet. So right now it should look something like this. You pull that card completely out and then it should clear this card. And now it's really just in your hand palmed. So they don't see anything, but then you're just gonna use, but it's in your hand like this. So you can even use this corner of the deck to like move it around like this. So it's kind of moving around on that card, staying in your hand. And then what you want to do is take your index finger and push that card down so that it's flush with the deck. And then you're just going to cover that card over, square everything up with this hand, and then just reveal the card has changed. So again, make sure you practice all these a lot. This one that might take a bit of practice. So again, show the card, push up, grab that card with the bottom of your palm, pull it out, clear the packet, move it over, and cover and show. So it looks really clean if you can perform it properly. So go ahead and give this a try. Maybe use it as a reveal. So you could do something like this where you have them pick a card or something like that. And what they do is go ahead and pick a card. You go ahead and show them that their card is not on the top of the deck. And then what you do is just do a little reveal and it changes into their card. You could do something like that. It would actually be a pretty good effect, but I want to teach you guys that. And you can also use this as a vanish. So let's say you take a card. You want to put it about halfway, but just a little less. So not quite halfway up the deck. Now what you're going to do is similar to what you did in the last one. Just take the base of your palm. You go ahead, pull that card out. So like this, pull that bottom card out. And then you're just going to leave it right there. So you want to leave it just square with the deck like this. So then it's going to be covering most of this card, but not quite. But again, your hand is covering this, so they're not going to see that. Now what you're going to do is move your hand this way. And as you wave your hand over the card, you're just going to use your index finger and push it in like this. So now I'll do that again. So basically you have the card almost halfway, not quite. You go ahead, pull that card out, square it up with the deck, turn your hand so that they don't see that card obviously. And then as you wave your hand over the deck, you push that card in and it looks like the card completely vanishes. And you can even show the cards, just make sure that you push off a few cards at the top so that it doesn't flash that card as you're spreading like that. So that's for the Vanish. So I hope you guys enjoy that. So this last color change is a very basic one, but I think it's an essential every magician should learn. So for this one, you don't need to do a double lift to start it. You only need to flip over one card, but you need to get 2 cards in your hand. So you want to just push these off like this. You can push off 2 cards, get a pinky break like this. This isn't going to be suspicious because you're not doing anything right now. So you push those cards off, get a pinky break, and then what you're going to do is grab on the opposite corners. So take your middle finger and your thumb, and you're just going to go ahead and grab those corners like this. And you want the corners so that this bottom corner is sticking out. You don't want it, you want it to be where, okay, how do I explain this? So your index finger should be able to be along the long side of this card, okay? Because if you have it the other way, it's gonna be on the short side. You do not want that. You want it so that this long side is where your index finger is, so that when you do the Vanish, or the color change, you just flip the card over like this. So essentially what you do is you get your fingers in this position and you just hold your index finger on here, or you can have it right here if you want to be more sneaky with it. So basically as you wave your hand like this, you're just going to wave your hand like this, and then as you do that, you're just going to use your index finger to just flip over that card like this. So when you're doing this in speed, it should look like this. So it looks like it just completely changes, and then you can just drop it on the deck. And since you don't have a double that both the cards are face up, you can reveal it's just one card once you set it on the deck. So this one looks really clean. You can do this one. Again, just pull it off, just quickly. Okay. So you just take the card off, quickly do a little color change, and then set it on the deck, show it's only one card, and it just looks really clean. So make sure you practice that a lot, obviously. So this is the basic, a lot of basic sleights and things that you should know if you're looking to get into card magic. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video a lot. Make sure you hit that like button, comment what your favorite move was out of this tutorial, and make sure to keep practicing these tricks. I hope to see you soon, practicing those tricks, and maybe one day even performing for people. So keep at it, you got this, and I'll see you guys next time.